Hi everyone, welcome to week 5 of our class. We've passed the halfway point, and so now we really only have 3 more modules of information left, modules 5, 6, and 7. So remember, the last week of the class is going to be reserved for taking our exam. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and take a look at what we are doing this week. So this week we are going to learn about 2 topics. We're going to be talking about the importance of biodiversity, what biodiversity is, and also what threats there are to biodiversity. And then we're also going to be talking about food resources. So there are quite a few materials here in my lecture folder. So you'll note that I have both the readings, which there are 3 readings, 1 reading for biodiversity and 2 separate readings for food resources. And then I also have a few videos. So with biodiversity, I didn't do a pre-recorded lecture. Instead, what I've provided for you are 2 separate videos that give you an idea of the content that we'll be covering. So please do note that for the first video, Biodiversity and Beings, or Beings and Biodiversity for Harper, so just your Harper ID, because this is a video that is distributed through a program called Films on Demand, which we have access through our library. So again, you'll get a little pop-up window that says this. Just again, put in your Harper user ID and password, and that'll bring that up for you. And then the other video I have doesn't require access to the Harper library. It's just another video. So again, make sure that you're going through the readings and looking at the notes, and then go through the videos to make sure that you understand that information. And then the rest of what I have is on food security. So there's a couple of different books that I'm using, ebooks as far as the information goes, because one talks about problem with getting and accessing food, and the other is more of a question of how food is raised. So that's why we have both of those. The assignments this week are fairly simple and straightforward. The reason I picked a slightly easier assignment this week is I know we have a little bit of a shorter week because of the 4th of July holiday. So please note that Harper does consider Friday, July the 3rd a holiday. And then of course, Independence Day is on the 4th. So I wanted to make the workload a little bit lighter this week. I'm hoping that you can take care of those assignments sort of before those days. So that way, again, you don't feel like you're bogged down with a bunch of things to do in the midst of sort of a holiday week. So the assignment for this week is something very simple and straightforward. You're going to watch a really quick video, a TED Ed video about what happens if the whole world decided to stop eating meat. So it's called Becoming Vegetarian, and you're going to answer a couple questions to that end. So again, very quick, very easy assignment. And then we have, of course, the discussion question for this week, and also the module quiz for this week. The last thing that I would like you to work on, and I will probably extend the due date on this, to be honest with you. Right now I have it due as Sunday, July the 5th, but I'll probably give you some extra time knowing that this is a holiday weekend and all. I want you to pick one of those topics that you had chosen for your Green Tech project, and I want you to give me some more information about it, right? So I'm calling it a topic outline. It's very informal. It can just be bullet points or whatever it happens to be, but I do want some more information. So I'm trying to get a preview of what your video is going to look like. So again, in your video, you're going to talk for 2 to 4 minutes about whatever this green technology is, and you're going to tell us about it. So this outline then is information for you to help yourself get organized and ready to record your video about your presentation. Okay, so please include your sources. Internet sources are fine. I'm assuming most of you are using internet sources as a matter of fact. Just try to make sure it's something, a website that you find to be fairly credible, and something that you would trust or rely on that information to be truthful, and not something that is, purely fictional, for example. It's just an idea that's actually being put into motion versus something that's maybe completely theoretical that has no basis in reality, right? So again, I know sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between the two, especially when we're talking about new and emerging technologies. But ideally, if you can find 2 to 3 sources to talk about one particular technology, you probably know that it's something that is a little bit more feasible versus one page you found on the internet one time, a long time ago about some random thing, right? So just try to do your best to think through whether or not you trust the resources that you're using, okay? So you're going to put your outline together. You're going to put your sources on there, and you're going to send that to me. And again, I tentatively have the date on that as July 5th. I will most likely extend that into next week because, again, I know we kind of have a little bit of a shorter week because of the holiday, so I wanted to do that. One other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, and I will create an entirely separate video probably this week highlighting this, is I posted the study guides for the exam. So if you go into course materials, there is a folder called exam study guides. If you saw my video last week, you know that I said that there's going to be 2 options for an exam, right? There's going to be an essay only exam where all you do is answer 6 essay questions, and I'm giving you the essay questions ahead of time. So you get to see them all. I'm actually going to give you 10 possible questions. And then the day of the exam, you'll randomly see 6 questions. Whatever 6 questions are chosen from the test bank are the ones that you'll see. But you get all of them to help you prepare. The other, if that's not your thing, the other is a traditional exam. So this is going to be a traditional 75 question multiple choice exam. Each question's worth 2 points. The traditional exam will look more like probably an exam that you're kind of, again, familiar with, just multiple choice questions. Now, keep in mind for both exams, there's no time limit, so you have as much time to take them as you want. But also please note that you will have to install what's called the Lockdown browser on your computer. So this is something you have to use a computer to take. What the Lockdown browser does is it essentially prevents you from opening up any other browser window other than the exam. I'm also allowing you to have a cheat sheet, I'm going to call it. So you can have a note card and you can jot some notes down on your note card, and you can use that to still help you with the exam as well. So again, I'm perfectly fine with you having something, that you have in front of you. Like I said, some sort of a note card or a half a sheet of paper. You can write out some notes if you want. That's perfectly fine with me because again, I know we're taking just one exam and it's a whole lot of content to cover, and I get that. So I do want to provide you with a couple of different study aids. I also do plan, if you saw my email that came out yesterday, I also do plan to hold some study sessions. So I'm going to put together a poll that I'm going to send out via email to everyone asking, what would be the best days and times to hold these study sessions. My goal is to probably hold 3 of these. And I'll do it the week before our exam, so which is in about 2 weeks from now. I'll do it the week before our exam. So again, my goal is to hold about 3 of these. We'll be using Blackboard Collaborate, which is a tool right through Blackboard, so you don't have to use Zoom or WebEx or anything else. You can just log into Blackboard and click a link, and it'll take you to our online session. And during the study session, it's your time to ask me questions. So I'm not really giving content during that time. I'm not giving lectures or anything like that. But what I am doing is I'm open and available for any and all questions that you have. So if you're working on an essay question and you're trying to come up with an answer and you want to run it by me, that would be the time to do it. If you're working on your exam, your study guide for the traditional exam, and there's something that you need more specific information on, that's what I'm there for. Okay, so again, I'm going to provide, my goal is to provide 3 sessions the week before the exam to give you guys opportunities to again, sort of speak with me synchronously in real time and let me know what questions you might have. So I think that about covers it for this week. So I will be posting again here in the next week or so. I will try to post 2 different videos. One video will be a video on what the exam is going to kind of look like. So I'll take you through how to download Lockdown browser on your computer, how to navigate to the exams, and how to click on the exams and open them. Basically, if you don't download Lockdown Browser and go through Lockdown Browser, when you click on the exam, it's going to ask you for a password. And if it asks you for a password, then you're doing it wrong. That means you haven't downloaded something you need to download. So if you download the Lockdown Browser and you open it and you log back into Blackboard and click on the exam, then the exam will open. But I'm going to show you what that looks like. Like I said, I'll create a step-by-step sort of video that shows you that process. I'm also going to create a video that shows you a little bit more about the presentation videos. On Flipgrid, I've actually gone ahead and put that link up, and so it's available for you to go ahead and record your video. But I am going to do one myself, kind of like a little test video that you can watch. It won't there won't be any content to it really, but it'll just show you kind of the experience of recording and some of the things that I'm looking for. So I plan on posting both of those here, like I said, either this week or sometime very early next week, because I know both of these things are coming up soon, right? The project and our exam, it'll be here before you know it. And I want to give you plenty of opportunities to sort of look and preview and see what things are going to look like before then. As always, if you have questions or comments or concerns, please let me know. Quick note on the Socrative poll. Again, I can kind of tell who previewed the material, especially my lecture notes, before you took the survey, and who did not, because the very first question was my big giveaway. And again, about 70% of you incorrectly guessed what the largest source of fresh water was on our planet. So there's a really nice graph, pie chart that's in my lecture notes that breaks down where you find fresh water. So if you didn't look at that, please make sure you did look at that so you can see exactly where that is. But again, the goal is that you go through the content first and then you answer those Socrative questions. And you can only get 10 points, which means when you answer 5 of them, that's your 10 points and you max out at 10 points. If you'd still like to continue answering those questions, that's great. You can, but you certainly don't have to. There's no expectation to. I just provide the poll every week because I want to make sure there is a platform for you to get your questions answered. And by the way, because I did see someone who said, if these questions are being answered, I don't know where to find them. Once again, don't forget, in order to find out where the questions are being answered, when you go in discussions, there's a link called Socrative Questions. And here in Socrative Questions, I took the questions that you asked me in the Socrative polls and I answered them. I'll be honest with you, I answered the ones that I could give a credible answer for. A few of you posited these sort of what if type questions, or questions that were more or less just kind of more or less statements of your frustration on things, especially when it came to things like climate change and, why can't companies get their act together and why can't we all come together and solve this? And it was, I'd love to be able to answer those questions, but I don't really have answers for them, right? But I still appreciate that you put those out there. But the ones that I was able to give a more definitive answer to, I try to put those down here. So just so that you know, because I did have someone who said, I don't know if these questions are being answered somewhere. They are in the discussions here under Socrative Questions. So that's where they are if you want to look over those answers. So again, that's it for this week. Good luck, everyone. I hope you have a safe and happy Independence Day celebration. I still plan on sending out a reminder email about assignments on Wednesday. And once again on Sunday, as I normally do. But take care, everyone, and have a good week.